Village Talk Show. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessings, blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Hopefully you enjoyed our new theme song from today, learning, what is it? Put into learn and grow. Yes. I feel you. What happened? You can't hear me? Oh, you know what? Did I unmute?
No, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Perfectly.
She's hearing us fine, but we can't hear her in the studio.
Where we get that song from? Where it come from?
All right.
Yeah, did you hear our new song? Let us know if you really like it, because I don't know where it came from. But
I know where it came from. Came from Dr. Brian. No, I can't hear you, Dr. Brian. Unmute yourself and say something. No, seriously, no, because we can't hear.
Really? You still can't hear me?
I'm hearing you now. Yeah, we're hearing you now. Right.
Oh, Doc, that's you. Who's singing the song?
Who's learning to grow? Who's learning? Who's that?
Learning to grow.
Come on, come on.
Yes. Come learn and grow.
To the Village Talk Show.
Who's that singing?
Was it karaoke?
No, it was a minivan.
Yeah, you know, I got a call today, right? It's funny. I got a few calls today because I took a while to send out the notice about the show. So I got a few calls from of our listeners. One of them was critiquing me.
Well,
and if you know me, you know I welcome the criticism because I want to know how we can learn and grow, right? As the song says, like learning to got you, said I tried that right back in there, learn, right? And she's like, I'm too hard on Joanne. I was like, I'm too hard on Joanne. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me about being too hard on Joanne. I'm not too hard on Joanne. Andre, do us a favor, just pull up. No, I'm saying none fast because we need that today, right? And so I'm like, you know, how do I become less soft? But when she does things like sit back there, we ask her about the song and she doesn't even talk about it. What do you want me to do, John? By the way, welcome villagers to another Thursday. We missed you last week. Hopefully you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. To the village, where we're dedicated to empowering the community to learn, to have a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today, where success is not just spoken, it is done. So hopefully everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. So let's talk with Dr. Brian. I know, ladies and gentlemen, we know she's going to give that simple answer, but we're going to ask her anyway. How was your Thanksgiving, Joanne?
My Thanksgiving was fabulous.
Good. Let's move on. John, how was yours? because we know that's all she's gonna say. She ain't gonna say nothing else.
Oh, you know what?
All right, go ahead. How was it? What was it? Seriously, you were
Actually,
talking.
it was fabulous, to say the least. I enjoyed it in sunny Miami and with family and friends. And I
Wait,
can't.
wait, wait. Did she just included the sunny Miami, John?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Was
78
she
degrees.
was she doing a dig at us because we talk about the fact that she just stopped it, or because she making a dig at me?
She's making a dig at you, not me.
All right, go ahead. So you were in sunny Miami, hanging out. When you went down? Wednesday?
Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, you went down there. Oh, so you flew down in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome.
And I
You and
can't
the
complain.
kids, or just you?
Just me. The kids were already there.
Mm.
Oh, when did they go? You made them miss school?
Yes, I did.
Shame on you.
It's okay. They can miss 2 days.
Okay.
Oh, Doc must have had a hot date or something going down there.
Oh,
Sunny Miami.
okay. That's...
With family. You know what? One thing I
Yo,
can say,
hold up. Did you notice how quickly she segued though? Did you notice that?
She said, and you know what?
And you know what? Yeah, you know what? I ain't talking about. Let's move on to. Yo, seriously?
no. The reason why I say that is every opportunity that you get to spend time with family
Amen.
is not guaranteed.
You know what? I'm not gonna say no to that, but I'm just
it's
gonna
true.
say you still copped out.
I didn't cop out.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You still copped out. No, we agree with you. You know,
Mhm.
there's nothing like family, but you
Yes.
still didn't answer John's question. You just segued it.
No,
Oh,
she
Well, he
answered
was
the
talking about
No, she
wait.
didn't.
a hot-
No, she
wait,
didn't.
wait,
no, she
Yes,
did
she
not.
did.
No,
wait,
she did not.
wait.
She
Wait.
segued right back to
She answered.
she not
Wait.
segued. She pivoted.
You were mentioning. Wait, John question
She pivoted
is
back to family.
if I had a hot date.
Mhm.
Yeah, we want to know. Should inquire. The audience wants to know.
And her-
Andre, you want to know,
And
right? I'm just like, I don't really
and
care.
her response was,
Yeah.
she spent it with family.
No. That doesn't mean that she didn't have a hot date. So we want to know the direct answer. Did you have a hot date, Dr. Brian?
I had a hot date with my family. And
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Yo, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. How was your Thanksgiving, John? What did you do?
I worked. It was peaceful. It was I had an opportunity to provide meals to those who are less fortunate. So it was very gratifying.
How comes I was invited? I'm less fortunate.
Yeah, we thought about inviting you, but we thought you were, I think, across the sea somewhere.
No. I was actually this. Honestly,
I thought maybe you went down to Atlanta to visit your parents.
to my parent, yeah. No, actually, I didn't.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't. Did your daughter come home from Swampmore?
Oh, they came home. And then she stayed for a couple of days. Then she had to go back because she had basketball practice.
Oh, she's on the basketball team?
Yeah, she's on the basketball team.
Oh,
and they
sweet.
just came in for law school
Yeah,
for a couple of days.
By the way, Swarthmore sometimes plays NYU. I don't know if to play them this year.
I don't know.
I thought I want she's in New York or in Jersey. Whenever you go into the game, let me know. I'll take a trip with you.
All right.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Whose?
Yours, Mr.
My
Daly.
what?
Your Thanksgiving. How did you celebrate?
I don't know what Thanksgiving is.
He's thankful
To be alive.
Wait. Do you know Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday?
Mine's too. It
Yeah.
is. It truly
It is my
is.
favorite holiday. And I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving for me, this Thanksgiving was extremely different for me because it was only my wife and my two youngest children. That's it. My oldest kid said he was coming over, but as usual, he finds something more important to do.
I mean, a young lady.
He called back and said I was out for 3 nights. That's right.
But
But-
young lady.
Yeah, maybe he's going to be 21 in March. I mean, at the end of the day, he is his father's child. So what the hell am I supposed to say about that, right? I can't, right?
Can't say no more.
I can't say no more, right? Because I know when I was 20, back at Haverford and Thanksgiving, I came for Thanksgiving and left Thanksgiving the next morning.
Yeah.
Or I went to a couple of friends' house while I was there. So whatever. So my wife made a very small meal. So it made enough for us to eat. So it was a little bit different because normally I come from a very, very large family. Like my grandmother had 9 children. One grandmother had 9, one had 14.
Wow.
Wow.
Right. So if you go and then we do family hopping, So my dad, sometimes we'll stay here, and then by the end of the evening, we'll go someplace else. We just hang out. And since I got married, we either was at my wife's family or my family. So it was, it was significantly different. So it was strange. But I like Thanksgiving for multiple reasons. One, I used to like Christmas when I was a kid in Jamaica. We used to have festivities. You go around, you go to the merry-go-round, you do this, you hang out, and you had like entertainment on the streets, and people went out. They sing songs at different bars and bar hopping and stuff.
Right.
Over here in America, man, if you didn't get me this or get me that, my Thanksgiving not my Thanksgiving, my Christmas is not Christmas. Why did you give me? Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, you didn't spend enough. You bought me something that's not on my list, or it doesn't have somebody's name on the back, in the collar, on the front. If you don't have none of those things, you know what?
So you're talking about the commercialization.
It's the materialism. Forget the commercialism is one thing.
Well, the commercialism, they commercialize it so they can have the material aspect.
Well, the main material, it's not a good, it's not a bad. When we talk about commercialization, I'm thinking, okay, they advertise and go out and go shop,
Which they do.
right? Which they do, which is fine. But it's in, and a lot of times in our own community, it's not just the shopping; it's what are you shopping for?
Correct.
And that makes a big difference. I mean, I have friends who says, "Yo, if it's not Versace, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, I don't want it. If it's not whatever it is," you know what I'm saying? And to me,
Fashion.
it ruins.
Well, you talk about the young designer who just passed away.
My wife actually just sent me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was 41 years old. He died of cancer.
Yeah, it's a rare form of, I don't remember exactly, but it's one of the rare form.
Yeah, we found out about that. So, John, what's your favorite holiday? Joanne and I, our favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. What's yours?
Really? Since the passing of my mother about 17 years ago, I'm really not a holiday person.
Okay, makes sense.
Not a holiday person.
Yeah, because
Every day, you know what? Every day is a holiday to me that I'm alive when I wake up in the morning.
Thankful.
So I'm thankful.
Yeah,
It's more, I'm just thankful to just be alive, free, and
Andre, let me get the.
And Andre, what's your favorite holiday, Andre? And Sophia, can you hear us? What's your favorite holiday?
Or you know what? Before Andre answers, anybody out there, just text us in the chat. Let us know what your favorite holiday is. Our people out there, and tell us why. Maybe give us a little sentence why we could bring it up. Go ahead, Andre. What's your favorite holiday?
I don't know if I really have a favorite holiday per se. I enjoy the holidays, but season-wise, at spring. So,
I like late spring, early fall. Yeah, I don't like cold weather.
Yeah,
I like the fall. Fall is nice to see the leaves change.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
I
like to go to a wine country.
At my high school in Amherst, we had a foliage walk, and so everybody would go get out and do like a 5K walk through the forestry, and get that done. So I was thinking that's not a bad thing.
But you know what? Let's get to this issue. Are we going to be locked down again?
No.
Unlikely.
Are we going to be locked down again?
Absolutely not.
You see the Omicron, the Transformer, we called it, has touched down in the U.S. in 3 states.
We have 5 people in New York.
Yeah.
5 people in New York now?
Yeah, they had a joint press conference with Governor Hochul and Mayor de Blasio. I literally, as I was coming to the studio.
And we have 5 cases here
in New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Of Omicron.
Yeah.
So can you explain to the listeners what's this Omicron variant? What is this, and where they believe it originated from?
Right, hold on. Before I get to that, we did ask the audience to participate in the favorite holiday. So bring up these two and then we get back to it. So Simone, her favorite holiday is so Simone writes, honestly speaking, any holiday that allows me to be off from work.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I can agree with that too, Simone. Any holiday that makes me get off from work is my favorite holiday. Monet says that as we get older, we learn to appreciate life, not holidays.
Big Mo, you know that, Big Mo. That's right. You're right about that, Mo. As we get older, as we get older, I try not to get old, but
I can't help it. Today I told somebody, so that I made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. We weren't listening to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
what else is new?
No. I was at the doctor's office. This is just a simple thing. And she thought I said I was 41. Yeah, that's exactly what she did, you little stinker. She's like, 41 where? Look at you.
41, 40.
I'm like, so 40, I know.
41, right. 41 head size or something?
Yeah, so that's what she was doing. So going back to what we're talking about. So they talk about the Omicron virus strand of COVID. So if you listen to, first of all, let's go back. If you listen to all of the sciences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to all of the sciences, the scientists, not the sciences, you'll know the number one variant in the United States is Delta. So we don't have any Omicron. So nobody, please do not go and go panicking out there like you are going crazy. No, the Omicron, we only have, I think, 7 cases in the United States, but it can spread. So you have to be careful. They said they originated in Africa, in South Africa. So, and then, so there is now going to be, what is it? There's now going to be some travel ban and new travel issues coming up with what's going on with that. Monet corrected herself and said, not older, but mature. When you get more mature.
Absolutely.
No, I think that was for me. I'm not old. I'm just more mature. So, but,
are you really mature?
Low.
Yo, you see,
I want to see somebody comment on this.
Wait, hold on. You notice I left Tracy, I'm gonna call her by name, called me today, and she had a 45. And you know what's interesting? I was at the doctor's office, right? And Tracy called me, and I told her I can't speak to you right now. Give me 10 minutes and I'll call you back. And would you know that she called me back in 10 minutes to the second?
I appreciate you, Tracy.
Right? To tell me
love from this side of town.
Right? And I promised I was going to left you alone. But you know what?
Left me alone or leave me alone?
All right. Thank you, Simone. I'm not going to pay them no mind. I appreciate that comment, Simone. I'm not paying her no mind. I'm ignoring her. But yeah, it is going to spread. But absolutely. John, I want to go back to the conversation. I was having a conversation with somebody, and the conversation, and Joanne, all of us chime in because we talk about the mandates and the COVID vaccine a lot. Mm-hmm. And people always, to me, in my mind, the comment is stupid. That's just me, mm-hmm. right? And I don't mean stupid as in you're an idiot, mm-hmm. but stupid as in, when you really think about it, you're just really trying to justify something. Mm-hmm. You go to the doctor give you a medication. More than likely, you take that medication. 99% of us take the medication. We might not take it like the doctor says. We might not take it as long as the doctor says, mm-hmm. but we take it. Mm-hmm. Right? We go and we fill the prescription. Correct. Right? And we have a whole bunch in the house. Why is the doctor correct then? Right? Now, all of a sudden, you read these numbers and, if it's a vaccine, it's supposed to fully vaccinate you and fully free. And I say to people, if you read what's happening and you hear what people are saying, You hear what the scientists are saying. The people who are number one in the hospital who are having the greatest side effect from COVID are the unvaccinated. Now, the rule doesn't say that the other people are not going to the hospital, right? The rule says who is in more of a dire straits.
Right.
And I said to somebody, Dr. Bryant is the only person that I know who knows somebody who died from the vaccine. From the vaccine. Right? From the vaccine.
Right.
Not because they catch COVID while having the vaccine. Dr. Bryant is the only person that I know who knows somebody personally who died from taking the vaccine. And I know thousands of people who have taken the vaccine. And I know more people who are dead from COVID than those who died from the vaccine. And the vaccine is an additional layer of protection. An additional layer of protection. It's not 100% protection, but it gives you a better layer. I'm done.
You finish off for yourself.
So I just asked the Omicron. Can you give
I know, right? And that went off, right? Because I get upset because now the Omicron is in, and people. I don't want to see my friends go. I don't want to go. I don't want to see my friends go. If I go, I won't know you go, right? Because I'm gone. But if I'm alive and see you gone, and then I have to hear about, oh, I'm not taking the vaccine. I have these things and that thing, and then all of a sudden you go, and your family have to say, why didn't he or she, puss, dog, cat, take the vaccine? You know, but Omicron is clearly a very dangerous variant. You know, obviously first we had Corona, then we had the Delta, now we have the Omicron variant. I think we had another one from India, which I don't remember the name off the top of my head, that went into effect early last year, before the Delta,
right?
That was killing off people by droves in India. So I'm just saying to everyone, you know, you got to be careful out there. So not just do the vaccine, but also right, but also making sure that, you know, people are safe and be safe out there no matter where you are. And we're talking about that they're going to be banning people from Africa, Botswana, who's that? Oh, okay. So one of our guests is here. So we can continue this conversation a little bit later. Guy, hit the top button, the blinking green. Hi, Miss Walker. How you doing?
Hello. How are you doing?
I am doing swanky. Welcome to the village. I'm Roderick Daly. You joined with us right here with Dr. Joanne Bryant, and hopefully you're able to distinguish voices. And we also have, he's also a doctor, but he doesn't like to use doctor, but Dr. Sampson over here. And welcome to the village.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you need to, we can't hear you so loudly. You hear nice and loud, Joe?
No, not really.
Right, so you need to speak up a little bit more.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, better. Again, like I said, welcome to the village, where we're all about the community and community empowerment.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and background.
Well, I'm from a native from the Bronx, New York. Born and raised in the Bronx, New York.
You're still coming in a little bit low. Are you on a speakerphone or something, or a headset?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Better.
Born and raised in New York City. Loved sports. Played tennis. Was a part of the New York City Authorized Youth Program. Went away to college on a tennis scholarship in Florida.
Okay, what college you went to? What's the name of the college?
Leo University.
Which one?
St. Leo University.
Saint
St. Leo University.
Okay, south or central, north, where? Or west coast on the peninsula?
St. Leo University is in Florida.
No. I said where on the peninsula?
Okay. Hello?
Yes, you can hear me?
What part of Florida?
What part of Florida?
Florida, right outside Tampa, Florida.
Oh, okay, so northern Florida. Oh no, that's west. That's off the I-4?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I go to what happened. There's a just keep talking. There's a little bit of issue with the reception, so we're working on it.
Okay.
And so are you? So where are you now?
Well, right now, currently in New York City, we're getting ready for an event that we're doing in New York City in Harlem.
What event is that?
Well, the current event. Am I live right now?
Yes, you are.
I don't know. It sounds like I'm in. All right. Well, the event coming up December 5th at the Apollo Theater.
All right.
The 30th annual Double Dutch Holiday Classic.
Ooh.
It's a Double Dutch event. It showcases the top teams in the U.S. and internationally. And it's 1 to 4 p.m. It's a family-friendly event. It's a great event for families, their children, grandparents. It showcases the top teams. They jump in a skills test first, speed, the fastest team we're looking for in the world, as well as the best of show, which is fusion freestyle. It's Double Dutch mixed with music.
Wow. All right.
That will be on December 5th, this Sunday, at the Apollo Theater.
What time?
1 to 4 p.m.
And and once you are crowned the champion at this event, what's next?
This is it. This is the end all be all.
So this is the world. So this is the World Series of Double Dutch.
This is the Super Bowl of Double Dutch.
Excuse me. This is having the World Series. I like World Series. I see. So the Super Bowl of Double Dutch. How many teams are left? Is this a Final Four? Is it how?
We have teams from all over the country. We have about 100.
You went out.
You went out again.
We have about 100 to 150 teams that are currently coming to New York City right now to participate in the event. In the past, we've had a little bit more, but under the circumstances, through this difficult times, we are blessed that we can still have an event. And there are young kids and people being active in our sports and in the community.
Now, quick question. How do people sign up for it? Because I didn't know about it, and I know some of my girlfriends are all into Double Dutch. We love that. But
does that remind you of chat?
I still can jump.
I got you. So wait, Joanna, you gonna compete this weekend with Lauren?
I don't know. Let's see.
Doc, man,
It might be too late.
I can Double Dutch.
It might be too late. Is it too late to sign up?
Yeah, this event is featured. Teams have to qualify for the event through different events throughout the nation. International teams have their teams that qualify that allow them to come to the event. This is like the final end of the year Super Bowl event.
So how many teams have you ever taken to this Super Bowl of Double Dutch?
Well, they're invited. They come into New York. They have their qualifiers in their countries. They have their qualifiers in their cities and states in the U.S. And the winners of all those qualifiers end up at this event, just like the Super Bowl. Final teams.
So like New York City actually has a PSA, a high school Double Dutch program, and I know that one of the schools that I was formerly involved in, they have a Double Dutch team. How does that work? Can an independent team sign up, or does it have to be you have to go to a level of competition. And moving forward, even if the team is not there, going back to Joanne's question, moving forward, how do they get involved with that?
Well, to backtrack on your question, we were actively involved in the development of the PSA program and the curriculum they have for the Board of Education. My father is David Walker. He is the founder of the sport of double dutch. In 1971, he saw the urban game activity that young girls were doing, so that there were not a lot for young girls, there were a lot for young boys to do recreationally, and created the rules to the sport of double dutch. And then reiterate the rules, and he founded the sport. We all know that the double dutch has been active in our community for years as a recreational game. He just formalized it into a sport. And from that, the PSAL, a lot of the curriculums he already had were in the middle schools and in high schools as independent clubs. And from that evolved the program that PSAL and all those guys started. Will formally actively help them start in the school system. So to answer your question, yes, teams have to come through some type of qualifier. This is a higher level, advanced level competition, but we do offer community skills challenges and special events throughout the year in different cities for kids to get involved. We do offer programs for adults to do, but just for exercise. So I know you had an interest in that. This event particularly showcases the teams, clubs and teams from around the country.
Okay. What countries will be participating?
All right, now we have teams from all over the U.S. We have Japan, we have Brazil, and we have a team coming from Kenya.
Oh, okay.
No team from the Caribbean. What's going on with that?
Well, we have teams from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, teams from Bahamas.
You didn't say that. Hey, wait. You didn't say that, though. I had to ask you that.
Throughout the years. They're not coming this year.
Oh.
Throughout the years.
I have a very stereotyped questions, right? When the Trinidadian come, because that's what I would love to see. Did they play like the soca music and do the dancing to the fete? Now, I know it sounds bad, but I love me some calypso and soca.
Yeah, we had a team from Trinidad that did their whole freestyle routine with music.
And
they added that into it. And that all kind of, they dance and they come from their tradition and their culture. That's what we want to see on stage on Sunday.
What is the name of that show, John or Joanne? The jump, hot jump, where they had the double dutch competition on television. It's a movie.
You mean the movie with the Disney movie or the TV show?
I think it's a Disney movie.
Well, there were two, and actually I was producer on one of them. So the Disney movie Jump with Corbin Bleu and Keke Palmer was a great example of young kids and boys developing and getting involved in the sport.
Was that movie like? Okay, you said you were the producer, which I didn't know that prior.
No. In one of them, there was a TV show too called Jump.
Okay.
That I was a producer on.
Okay, so let me ask you, that level of competition, how real was that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could barely do, what is it, the single jump rope. So tell me more.
Out of shape. So
it's not out of shape. I'm uncoordinated.
All right.
I play basketball. How could I be out of shape? I used to play basketball.
That TV show contributed to a lot of talent because they pulled a lot of teams from around the country to be a part of that talent.
Okay, so there were real teams that were competing.
Real teams that they got to be and to help the actors learn how to jump and be a part of that whole process.
Okay.
And that's what we came in. We were the backboard to catalyst to getting those teams in, helping them research their storylines. We hope in the future there'll be more and more shows that will show off sports. We are, it's an urban pastime, double dutch. Just like how the boys play basketball, the girls jump rope.
But there's boys that jump rope as well. Do you have a lot of boys involved in the in double dutch?
Absolutely, yes. More and more boys than we have in the past belong to double dutch.
What's the age group?
The ages go from 8 years of age all the way to adult.
And in this competition as well, that's the same?
Yes, we showcase fourth and fifth graders all the way to adults.
So Joanne, you hear that?
I have no problem.
I didn't say I had a problem. I'm just saying that can Joanne can our hostess
This year,
participate?
not this year.
Did you hear how quickly she backed out?
No. She said the competition's already chosen. They already have their teams and everything. Okay, so I have to get my team ready in order for me to come through. All right.
No,
Thank you.
not your team. You participate, not your team. You joining the team and doing your stuff.
Yeah, but did you?
Well, she has to have a team. A team is 2 turners and a jumper.
Exactly.
Wait, 2 turners. So is it? So team is 3 people.
Double dutch is 2 turners and 1 jumper.
No. Well, no. That's the set that can play. So are you saying that's the minimum number of people
That you
the
need to
minimum
have
number?
to earn and to jump.
No. I know what it is to jump. You have a minimum of 3 people. That's not what I meant. So I'm saying, what my question I'm asking her is, like, on a basketball team, there are 15 people, but only 5 can play at a time. That's what I'm asking. On a football team, you have 53 players, but only 11 can play at a time.
True.
Right? You get what I'm saying? So my question to you is, how many people are on it? So if Joanne wants to come with a team, the minimum obviously is 3, or is it 4, or is there a limit? That's what I'm asking. Lauren?
The event hosts 3 different types of divisions.
Okay.
It is a singles that has three people, 2 turners and 1 jumper.
Right.
A doubles division that is 2 turners and 2 jumpers. And a fusion freestyle division where you can have up to 6 people perform freestyle to music.
Okay. No, okay. That's not what I'm asking. I get that. I know how many people can do at one time. I just want to know, if Joanne wants to have a team, how many people need to be on? If somebody wants to create a team, how many people can they register on that team?
She can, everything, a team only has 3 people. It's like tennis. Singles is only 1 person and doubles is only 2 people.
No. But in tennis, on a tennis team, you have, I believe it's 12 players.
So we can have a minimum of 3
She can
people.
have as many people she wants on the team, but when it comes down to actually
Right.
competing,
Okay. Right. I get
There is
that.
a
Like a
minimum.
doubles, you could only have 2 players. So but you could have an alternate in case something goes wrong. That's
she
where
can
we're
have
at.
she can have 100 people on her double dutch team.
I got you.
So
All
when
right.
it comes down to competing, she can only have 3, 4, or 6.
Gotcha.
Now, how do
Interesting.
people sign up for this next year? The adults.
For the adults division, we have
Absolutely.
a website at nddl.org. Stands for National Double Dutch League.
NDDL.
nddl.org.
Okay.
We
Perfect.
have different events hosted on there and on our social media
Okay.
for adults and for kids in the community, different communities around the country.
Because I do know that Long Island, some of my friends in Long Island get together and they actually have Double Dutch Sundays. So,
I know them very well.
okay. So I need to actually collaborate and join next year. Hopefully next year I can compete and my partners over here can come and support me.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Oh!
Wait. What do you mean by support, though? Before I said good luck with that. What do you mean by support? Watch you or participate?
Support doesn't mean participate. Support means coming out.
Okay. I could do that. I don't know about John, but I could.
Anyway, how can people actually get tickets for the event this week? Where can they go to come and view and support and just cheer people on?
The event, we appreciate that. The event, the Apollo Theater, they can go to the Apollo Theater box office and purchase tickets, or they can go to Ticketmaster. The tickets are $30 per person, For groups, if you're a group of 10 people or more, it's $25 per person. The event is the National Double Dutch League David A. Walker Double Dutch Holiday Classic at the world famous Apollo Theater from 1 to 4 p.m.
And it's one day.
A one-day event, the best of the best.
Oh, awesome. What do winners get?
We have team leaders awards. We have prizes from some of our sponsors. Esport knapsacks gives every participant a nice premium knapsack. They win jackets. The top best of show win jackets and awards as well.
Okay. And will this be, you know how we watch?
This is a bragging right. This is for the title of the best, the fastest and the best.
You went out again. Can you repeat that again?
I said this is bragging rights, just for the not only for the title, but the best of the best. At the end of
Absolutely.
the year.
It's like Bring It On.
Exactly. Yep.
That's the show. Bring it on. That's what I was thinking of. That's exactly what the show was that I was
Bring it
looking
on,
at.
1, 2. Bring it on. But you know, it's what's the cultural impact of the National Double Dutch League. You know, what indelible mark does this sort of activity place upon the African American community?
Well, I think it's very important. I think it's urban sports that is synonymous with female black magic, black experience. It comes from our communities and it brings communities together.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do kids in our community.
You're fading out. We're losing you again. Lauren, we're losing you again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Wherever the phone is or whatever device you're speaking on right now, keep it right here.
Okay, I got you guys. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I think that right now the double dutch is very important to our community. Young kids and young boys are not as active as they were back in the day. At this time of day, with computers, a lot of sports, a lot of recreation activities have been kids are just not interested anymore. And I think that the sport of double dutch evolved in the 70s at a time where there was none of that, and kids embraced being outdoors and embraced being involved and socializing with other kids and getting to meet young people. And those activities in our community were very important. Double dutch has expanded to communities all across the country. And what we do is not just competitions. We have after-school programs. We have events in different historical communities around the country. Our last event we did a few years ago was at Lincoln Center, in the center by the fountain. And we hope to have one this next summer in Harlem at the state office building.
You know, one of the things that you were saying a lot, and I don't want to let that go, is that it's a very, without saying it, you're saying it, within the African American Black community, this is something that's very positive. When you talk about the Lincoln Center, you talk about Harlem, you talk about Apollo.
Right.
These are trademark places that talk about the Mecca of Black culturalism here in the United States. You know, and so, you know, and the positivity of it. The next thing that you speak about that people, our audience, need to hear is that kids are one of the things that we now know that our kids are not being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They're not exercising, they're not living a healthy life. And so by doing double dutch, it makes them remain active. A few of our guests in the past have talked about being an active participant in your health and wellness, right? And so this now provides us, so the cultural positivity and the health positivity of what you're doing is so important, because like you said, your father, David A. Walker, was the person that invented this competition, as well as one of the founders of double dutch, the game itself. I mean, I don't know historically, what goes around, but I know that when I came to United States, they played double dutch on the streets. And one thing that I learned is if children are doing something positive, they're not doing something negative. That just goes without saying.
My father he was a police officer. He was a police officer in Harlem.
Yes. Yeah.
He wanted to give the kids another outlet, young girls another outlet for their creative activities that they didn't have. There were baseball, basketball leagues, football leagues for boys. The girls didn't have anything.
That's true.
And it started at IFP. There it evolved to the Board of Ed.
Right, and that's a beautiful thing. So kudos to your father. What precinct did he work in? The
32 precinct. Then went to the 24.
Okay. You're wherever you're doing with that phone. You got to remember to put it back.
He was at the 30, the 30, 32, the 32nd precinct, 4 or 99. He was born and raised in Harlem, 118th.
Yeah.
Served, as a police officer in his community, and wanted to make sure that that he could, he was a sergeant of community affairs.
Oh, okay.
So not only did he do double dutch, he did a huge bike safety program in Harlem. And the event today is called the Harlem Skyscraper Classic, which is another event that he did. He does today. It's his 50th anniversary. It's around Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem. It's 50 years. Going on 50 years.
God
bless. God bless.
Will this show? Okay, for those, if somebody cannot make it to Harlem, is there to the Apollo Theater? Is this televised? Is it on a web page? Is it virtual? Can anybody get in touch with it?
Well, we don't have streaming at the moment. We'll be doing our Facebook page, live posts. You can go to Double Dutch. You'll see the 2DD backwards, or you can go to our Instagram page, National Double Dutch League. And you'll be able to see some of the live posting.
Okay. Like we said, the village is all about community empowerment, and involvement, and this is one of those things that we think and know that we know of its importance to our community, especially a lot of people who are part of our audience as well. And you know what, John, it's impressive that you have somebody coming all the way from Japan.
Amen.
To come and participate in it.
That's why America is the big melting pot.
But remember, this is black magic.
Black magic.
Yes, that's what she said.
Black girl magic. You know that? Black girl magic.
Black girl magic. You're right.
I love it. We thank you for being on the show. We thank you for sharing Double Dutch information, and I will be joining the team. So be prepared to see me.
Everybody Sunday at the Apollo Theater, the Double Dutch Holiday Classic, 1 to 4 p.m.
Yeah, I was hoping that there was if you tell us the Facebook page, because I personally will not be here this weekend. I have family.
The Facebook page is National Double Dutch League or
National Double Dutch League.
National.
You came in broken again.
National Double Dutch League.
Okay.
The event is called the Double Dutch Holiday Classic.
Yes.
30th year. At the Apollo Theater.
30th year. Wow.
Jump in Double Dutch at the Apollo Theater, huh?
Listen, if they do comedy night at the Apollo, they could do Double Dutch at the Apollo. So this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Lauren.
very much for having me, everybody.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
That's actually awesome.
That is an awesome.
I remember. Listen, you know why I don't do double Dutch,
Why?
Joanne? Because I have 2 left hands and 2 left feet.
Okay. Coordination is important. Coordination is important.
Yes. Oh, you got jokes?
No. Seriously, coordination is important in order for you to do double Dutch.
Can you get up and do a little double Dutch dance for us?
Are you gonna be turning for me? No.
Yeah, I'm turning. Ready?
I already see your coordination is off. Even
So-
trying to turn.
So how do you turn? Show me.
It's okay. I did it already. It's
And then,
okay.
and then ask her, why does she do that? Then this is why Tracy gets mad at me. I asked you to show us how to turn you like I did it already. Where?
Mm.
I did.
Where? Did you saw it, John?
Mm-mm.
I know I didn't see it. Anybody in the audience saw when she did it?
Nope.
Yes.
No, none of us saw it. So if I didn't see it and John didn't see it, then guess what you didn't do? You didn't do it so that we can see it.
I did.
It was too fast? Oh, Andrea said it was too fast. You missed it too.
Okay.
No. Y'all missed it.
You got jokes. Our next guest, our next guest is going to be Hope. I got you. I got you. I'm just. No, I'm not jumping. I'm just saying, like, he is a professor at Brown, right? And he's a physicist. So he's one of the world's renowned black physicists in, well, the world. But he's
Big up.
And guess where he went to school? Guess where he went to undergrad?
Don't say Harvard. Don't say.
He did not go to Swarthmore.
Don't say Penn
He did not
State.
go. He did not go to Swarthmore. Guess where he went?
What are you?
If he didn't go to Swarthmore, dog, where do you think he went?
NYU?
Kumbaya, man. No, he didn't go to NYU. While we have some, he went to Haverford and he went to UE. No, he didn't go to UE. I don't remember him going to UE. He went. I forgot where he did his PhD and his fellowship from.
Mm-hmm.
In physics, but it's kind of weird. He's from Brooklyn, actually. He
Nice.
went to is it Brooklyn or Bronx? One of them two. One from New York City.
New York. That's it.
And he is a Trini boy.
Okay.
He is definitely and he's
So
also,
that means he must know how to make the corn soup.
oh, I don't know. You could ask him. Ask him when he comes on. He's also a renowned jazz musician as well,
Which is very nice.
so it's kind of cool. Kudos to Stephon when he comes.
Thanks.
While I'm doing that, I want to send a few happy birthdays.
Happy birthday shout out to
One, I missed my brother's birthday. I didn't say happy birthday to him, and he almost punched me in my face when he saw me. Like literally, almost broke my nose. So his birthday was the 20th. My uncle's birthday was the 29th. My cousin's birthday was the 30th. My other cousin was the 25th. Yvette Clark's birthday, Congresswoman Yvette Clark, happy birthday to you. That's the 21st. Today's Mama Clark's birthday. Right? Today's Mama Clark and Assemblywoman Rodney Spachat's birthday. And every time I do this, I know I forget a birthday and I get beat up. My boys, my twin boys will be 20 on Tuesday. My grandmother would have been 100 on Tuesday. December 7th, 1921 should have been 100 on Wednesday, on the 8th. And my Aunt France would have been 79 tomorrow. Today's the 2nd, right? So it should have been 79.
God bless him.
So those are the birthdays.
No,
And
the
happy
triplets.
belated birthday thing.
Triplets.
Go
Triplet
ahead.
cousins.
Say it again.
I have triplet cousins whose birthdays coming up on the 8th. They're turning the big 50.
Oh,
Yeah, Beatrice, Peter, and John. So,
okay. 2 boys, 1 girl. All right,
Mhm.
awesome. Any of them look very much alike, or they all look different?
2 of them, redhead.
Okay, awesome. What about you, John? Any shout outs?
Yeah, just shout out to my daughter. November 21st, she turned 27.
The one that's in law school.
Yes, 27.
Okay.
Shout out. Also want to shout out to my sister. She turned the big 60 this year.
Oh, that's a big birthday. What's she doing?
Yeah. She ain't doing anything, man. She just
Low key
with family.
All right. I want to say a couple shout outs to my people at Lenox Hill Radiology on Flatbush Avenue. They're taking very good care of me. So special shout out to Andrew K, Susanna, who helps me out in the back. She actually, it's funny. I went to go see her to do. I did a recent CT scan.
Okay.
And I'll talk about that in 2 weeks,
Mhm.
ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk about it in 2 weeks, and then I'll talk about it today. And so she came out. She actually remembered. I was shocked because I had her do my my blood work to check for my sugar level.
Right.
And I was there March 30th, and she said, like, oh, so you want me to check your sugar? You want me to do this? I'm like, you remember that?
Mm.
Right? I don't know. She had, afterthought. It's like, okay, maybe she wrote it down someplace. But the fact that she actually remembered to come out and say to do it, remind me of it. It was cool. So all the ladies at the front desk out there who are listening on YouTube, I did want to make sure that you know that I did not forget to tell you, thank you for everything that you're doing for everybody. I know you have a lot of work over there, but you know what? You make me, Roderick Daly, feel special when I get there. And I forgot her name. I wrote it down and I guess I didn't send it in, but she's also expecting. She's expecting well. So happy to be mommy.
Beautiful,
as well.
beautiful. You know, this time
Right.
of the year is always the best time of the year.
Why?
You know, just the changing of the, going into winter and kids getting out for the winter recess. It's just amazing. And the new year coming abroad, and all the wishes and, and also Joe Biden had a colonoscopy and our VP was sitting in the presidency for 45 minutes, an hour. That's not bad for VP Harris.
So in the annals, in the annals of history,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen, we had our first Black female president, though it was only 1.5 hours. But that history cannot change. It cannot change. She was the president of the United States for 90 minutes. Is that and we heard that as soon as Joe Biden woke up, he goes, I'm alive. I'm back. Give me back my presidency.
Oh gosh. So what's up with Biden, man? What's going? Yeah, Democrats.
Listen,
what
history. You know what?
is going on?
He's trying now. He's trying.
Democrats. What the hell is going on?
You know what I have a problem with? I have
shucks. You're getting into it now.
Wait. She's gonna say something.
I have a problem with the senators because they want to block.
Which one? The Democrats or the Republicans?
The Republicans.
Or both.
Everything that he wants to do in order to bring our country back, functioning, they want to block it.
But that's their job. That's their job. Their job is to say that the Democrats are incompetent.
Yeah, but here's the problem. With a new virus up and going, running, it's going to stop any forward thinking, forward progress, making sure that everyone is not only vaccinated, but hospitals are working and safety measures are in place. They want to block that. They want to stop the government just because they do not want the mandate of the vaccine. Okay, fine. You don't want the mandate, don't take it. But don't stop the country in going forward just because you want to make a political point. That's ridiculous.
Okay, so this is where John and I are in agreement. They are very cohesive. Mm-hmm. They stick together with whatever malarkey BS that they want to do.
Some of their partner friends says this is not the time for that stupidity.
But again, guess what? How they're going to vote? They're going to vote along party lines. The Democrat, on the other hand, like to throw each other under the bus.
Yeah, but right now,
they always want to be the crab in the barrel. Not all.
You want to make a political stance just because we want to make a political stance.
All of us want to run for governor. All of us want to run for governor.
Everyone at risk, health at risk.
Let me tell you something. You can make all the political stances you want when you're in the minority. You know why you can make those political stances? Because they ain't going anywhere.
It ain't worth nothing.
It's not worth anything. It's about action. It's about making sure things are executed. The Republicans are keen on execution. They are keen, and to them, at all cost, they will make sure what they want is executed. And you know what's interesting? What's interesting is Donald Trump put 2 additional Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court. And just the argument in and of itself, just listening to Roe versus Wade and questioning.
Well,
Hold on.
But that was just questioned. In Mississippi, they turned it back.
No. Mississippi did it. But the whole point is this. There's a federal statute that protects that woman's right to choose. However, what they're looking to do it is not only putting a dent, but eviscerating it and sending it back down to the states to allow the states to come up with their own legislation to deal with this. So therefore, you're going to have the liberal states, you're going to have the conservative states, and those somewhere in the middle. What we're doing, this is the polarization. And what's interesting is the Supreme Court is, you talk about political, they are ultra political in their ideologies of what they put. It is not, if we looked at the black letter of the law of that Constitution, you know, it was written at a certain period of times and things have evolved and things have changed. So therefore, you have to find ways in which there are some basis, but it has to conform with what's going on at the time, as long as it's based upon in common law. But you can use common law all you want to, but at the same time, there has been an evolution in the changes of laws because of the technology and things that we have done. So the bottom line is, in this whole thing, Democrats, the filibuster, if you do not ram this down the Republicans' throat, they're going to ram it down your throat at some point in time. This is what you don't understand, that the power
they're going to lose their slim majority.
They're going to lose their slim majority. Next year they have an opportunity to lose both, and then we're looking at the presidency. You look at all this inflation going on, and we see it,
which is not his fault.
But
they don't care. It's right now.
Care. Every single day you see it when you go to the gas pumps to put gas in your car. You go to the supermarket. You know, especially this past Thanksgiving, you know, people go to food, their food bill, $100 used to buy a lot. $100 can't even buy 6 or 7 items. The price of meat and everything else. So they have the human infrastructure bill that they're working on now, in which you have Christian Cinema and you have Joe Manchin. They want certain things in or out. Cut the freaking deal. Do what you got to do. Cut the deal. Get this to the states and let them understand so we can start implementing. People want to go back to work.
You know, John, you mentioned a couple of things in your bully pulpit conversation just now.
Oh, bully pulpit.
Right. Don't worry, I use it too. And one of them that you mentioned was the gas prices. And I remember back in 2000, under George Bush, the son, where gas. I don't know if you remember that when he went into that stupid war in Iraq, not Iraq. Which one of them? It was Iraq, right? Iraq. It was Iraq, and how the gas prices became absurd.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Online for hours to get gas.
And so I wrote a piece back then, and people said to me, the president of the United States has nothing to do with the gas prices. You can't tell a Republican now that the president of the United States have nothing to do with gas prices that they were talking about in 2007, 2004, 2005, when he was running against John Kerry. So now they're going to take that same, and this is what we're talking about with the Democrats and not sticking together. You cannot have that same conversation right now, because in 2004, 2003, after the what did you call the war? The Iraqi war wasn't called the Iraqi war. What did they call it? I forgot what they called it. The Desert Storm. Desert Storm was 2000. Was 1991. Was father. Right. Iraqi freedom. Right. You couldn't tell a Democrat that George Bush was not responsible, and you could not tell a Republican that George Bush was responsible.
Right.
But now the argument has now switched.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell them that the foolishness of what happened under the former president Donald Trump and everything that he went on with is what has led to the gas prices at their astronomical rate. Because Joe Biden has released 50 million gallons of oil,
which is not even a drop in the bucket,
right, to help with the cost. But with COVID, literally,
cost is either going to stay the same or go up.
It's going to get worse because you can't buy a car. My car is worth more percentage-wise than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it's kind of funny because they're like, oh, you know, to send my car back, to send my car back, I'd get more money than it's worth, than it was originally worth. But here's the kicker: to get a new one costs more money.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the point of sending it back?
True.
Right. So it's not just the car prices or the gas; it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything. And so I was having this person with a conversation about Jamaica, and your cost of living in Jamaica, minimum wage in Jamaica is about $40, maybe about $42. That's the minimum wage, 42 American dollars.
Wow.
And a COVID test, just to take a COVID test, a private, like in America, it's not like America.
Right.
Like, well, I don't know about America, but it's not like New York, where you can go to CVS and take your COVID test, just make sure, oh crap, that reminds me, I have to do my COVID test. Right. But it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to take a COVID test, you have to pay $7,500 or better.
Wow.
Your minimum wage is $6,500. Who is going to take a COVID test if I'm living in an impoverished neighborhood?
Not me.
Right?
Correct.
I can't take that test.
Mm-mm.
So the system is draining in inflation when something should be free. How am I can't stop COVID.
You're right.
So a lot of times people are looking around the infrastructure deal, $1.2 trillion, right? How does that trickle down to everyone?
The whole point. That's the whole
right.
How is that money going to trickle down? That's the most important thing.
That's the most important point, right? So all of this, and people, when we talk to you about owning your own business, I'm sorry, I didn't say bye to Simone. Simone, go ahead and enjoy Bible studies. We'll see you back at 9:15. No, she finishes at 9. So she comes back for 9:15. Right. But going back to what I was saying, it's like people out there, you need to do something. Stop saying you can't do something and do something to earn some additional income. Stop being complacent and not doing the things that requires you to earn. So we talked about last week, we were on Commissioner Wright, and nobody, ironically, no one has called me and said to me, you know what, I'm interested in the cannabis business,
right,
or any type of business. We had Chris Horton on earlier this year to talk about they'll help you through every step of your business. No one has called and said, you know what, Roderick, let me get that information. Right.
But I had calls about our guest, the doctor who was on.
Which doctor?
Who was on about children.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about like creating your own generational wealth. I know that people reach out, unless that's what you're talking about. But
Yes.
Dr. Walker, who talked about sexual abuse, that
Right.
was, a lot of people referred back to it. A lot.
That shows you the mindset of people right now. Right now, people, yes, you want to create money, you want to create generational wealth, but some people are in some other issues and they're thinking more of mental health and physical health than financial wealth. So depending on what situation you are in will determine what their focus is on.
But I also think it's a matter of mindset, right? It's mindset also, not just the situation you're in. Because,
Mindset.
it's mindset. And the reason why it's also mindset, because you can work on your generational wealth, right? Because here it is that you have somebody who's going to help you. You have this idea about a company that you want to start.
But
And you have somebody who's going to help you from start to finish. But
Yes.
you have this other issue. Yes, you have this other issue that's going on, right? So you want to fix the immediate, but look long term. So why can't you say, okay, what help do I need to help at least to get me started, right? Get me started on one end and come to the other. You get what I'm saying? So if I want to do a cannabis business, so
You need
here's
help.
the commissioner. Maybe I need to go to a workshop.
Right.
Is there a free workshop? Do I need startup money? Are there grants out there?
It's all about homework. Just
Right.
Doing your homework.
Is doing your homework.
Doing
What
your
am I willing to
investigation.
do?
Sacrifice.
What
Yes.
I'm willing to do to assist myself in achieving what I want to achieve.
Right.
And this is the problem that we have with Democrats and Republicans.
It's true, though.
The Republicans, by all means necessary to maintain the power, acquire the power, because there is so much that we can do while we have that power, because we know that we are lockstep and barrel on certain ideologies.
Perfect. And what is it that we need to do? Oh no. And then I'm going to watch what you have when you could attain the same thing. You can attain it. How? Because the question becomes, how did a person get to that point? A lot of us, the black race is one of the most undereducated race on paper. On paper, that means having a degree, right? So let's call a spade, right? But how does the one undereducated person buys a house? They did.
It's called susu.
Right. You do what you need. That's what I'm saying. You do what you need to do.
It's called saving your money in the susu.
Save your money in susu. I joined a 20. How much is it to make a down payment on my first house? Is it 20,000, 30,000? Let me do a susu for that.
Yep.
Let me go to a bank. What first time home buyer grant do this national housing? What is it called? NHS, National Housing. I forgot but NHS is an example of where you can go. Citibank has a first time host by
There's a lot of organizations.
A lot of organizations out there that's willing, and again, I brought up the commissioner. I brought up somebody who says to you, we're going to match you 80% to 20%. Start your business.
You mentioned housing. I want to bring this up briefly. I was listening to the price of homes that skyrocket out of brand new homes.
Yeah.
Brand new homes, because there's not enough construction workers.
There's not enough anything going on right now.
So not enough people are looking into construction. So it's taking longer for the house to be built. The prices of the industry back in the days, people get out of school. If they don't want to go to college, they'll go into construction. Now they don't have enough people who actually want to go into that industry. So they have a shortage.
Because they're not pushing CT education.
What happened?
They're not pushing career technical education.
Well, let's see what happens.
People talk about it, but they don't push it. It's removed from schools. Well, which school have you been to recently that had a shop program? How many schools? When we were in junior high school, we learned at my 11.
Yes.
We learned, at South Shore High School, they had automotive. You could have gotten your driver's license. Yeah, and I see him. Right? Yeah, you get what I'm saying? That don't exist no more.
That was in middle school, right? And it got us prepared for high school to say, hey, maybe, I want to.
And it got you prepared to do little things around the house.
But unfortunately, right now, the main focus is on testing,
Yes.
everything else.
And
So
every one size fit all.
yeah, real life application skills have
Mhm.
been taken away a long time ago.
Mhm.
And now, for us to say, hey, this is the way to go. And half of these kids, by the time they're done, they're like, we're not going to take no student loan. We're not going into this industry. Forget about it. So you're creating a bunch of bums.
You know what I know? There's people who had like the shop experience. I'm gonna bring Stephon on now. The people who have the shop experience, even though might have a doctoral degree, or PhD or BA or what any other bachelor's or any other thing on, you're able to do things around your house. A little plumbing, a little gardening, a little this, because you learned those things while you were in school, while you were learning your own whatever education, whatever you want it to be.
So
Yeah,
Stephon,
you got to
welcome.
discover.
Welcome,
you know.
Stephon.
Dr. Alexander, good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
You can call me Stephon, but great to be here. Great to be here, buddy. And
before I introduce you,
Brian
before I
John.
introduce you, I want to make sure I say these two hellos because they're both going to kick my behind if I don't.
Okay.
Dr. Michael Clark says hello. We made sure that
that's my boy.
And oh Jesus Christ, man. Okay, let me go back. I'm gonna make sure that I do that because if I don't and I forget, they're both gonna kick me. Bruce Siegel.
Oh yeah, Bruce.
Bruce.
I miss Bruce. The Philly days.
And Kwame and
I said Kwame. Which Kwame? Because there's only one Kwame.
From Sons of Africa.
Oh come on, Kwambo. Yes.
Yeah, Kwambo. Right. So make sure I do that. So I got that out of the way. Let's get started with you.
Oh, give me a break.
Go ahead, man.
How are you? Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. It's a pleasure. What's your PhD? Dr.
Educational.
Brown?
I have educational leadership. I did a triple actually. So throwing mass, digging into curriculum, leadership, superintendency, and principalship.
Okay, very good.
That's
so you have triple PhD, you're telling me.
That's a quadruple.
Yeah.
And I got the PhD from the streets, Doc.
Right.
Yo, that's probably probably the most relevant.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Stephon, our Andre, our producer, just said, "Man, dude, you look mighty relaxed back there. What are you doing?
And where are you?
And where are you?
I'm sitting in my living room in Providence, Rhode Island. And I have that's like the one tall building we have in Providence. So it's like
All right. You went to Andre came on the screen to say what's up.
What's good, man?
Yes, I could tell this guy was a yardie. I was like, where's the rice and peas, man?
How they do?
Right. And Andre don't normally come on the screen. So I don't know, Steph. I don't know. So where did you go to high school?
I'm giving love to the yardies, man. I give love. Even though I'm a Trini, I give love to the yardies all day.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
because I don't want these guys coming after me with a cutlass. You know what I mean?
We come at you with a machete. That's what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah. You went to school in New York City, so you're a public school New York City student. Tell us about your background. When you tell us about from your transition from Trinidad to New York City and then on to college and so forth and so forth. So get us a very small look at your early life.
Yeah, man. So it's really interesting because family immigrated from Trinidad to the Bronx in 1979. I was, that probably reveals
young lad.
50 and grew up in the Bronx, proud product of the public school system.
All right.
Ruddy and I, we went to the same college, both went to Haverford.
I don't know about that now.
Yeah. So, I think the thing that's interesting, that as a testimony to, Haverford is one of these places where many of our classmates, if not most of them, they're coming from more like an upper class and, Philip Exeter and like all these whatever. And I thought
you come from Brooklyn.
And but the point is that this free education we got in the New York public school system, we had to apply ourselves and catch up on a lot of things. But you know what? Like, it's a testimony that like you could, you could really. I went to Haverford after Clinton. I majored in physics. I minored in sociology because the reason why I did that was because if you're black and you're in spaces like that in for the first time in your life, you gotta find a way to understand the situation that you're in. So I was actually studying the students and the college as a sociology major. Like they were like my guinea pigs. I was like trying to understand the reality that I was in, and while I was majoring in physics, and we founded a thing called Sons of Africa, so that really provided a platform.
Tell us what Sons of Africa is.
Well, Sons of Africa was basically, when we were there at Haverford, you found that there were so few black men and black women. Like in my class, there were only 4. And how many was in your class? You were?
Oh, I don't know. Like probably about like 17.
That much?
Maybe, if that much. If that much. You talking about black men or black?
Black men, just black men. Because
I don't know.
Altogether, there were like 8. Yeah, there were maybe 8 or 10. 9 black.
Maybe about 10 black men in my class. Well, you're making me think about that. It's maybe about 10 to 12.
All right. Okay. So the numbers were very slim, but the thing that was interesting about it was, think about if you go to a big university, right? You go to like Penn State, where there are 35,000 students. There's enough of a critical mass that if you are of the diaspora, there'll be enough kids from Africa, there'll be enough from the Caribbean, there'll be enough from down south, there'll be some from from South America, and so there's critical mass. So people will basically connect around those similarities in languages and what have you. But there were so few of us, and we were so isolated that some of the brothers who were from Africa and the Caribbean and African Americans, we said, you know what? We have a lot of shared experiences, and we all were effectively dropped off in a boat somewhere. So we're the Sons of Africa, and we kind of united around that, and also we also recognize that listen, we have this opportunity to really take advantage of whether or not we like the school or people treat us in ways that were not wholesome and what have you. There's 4 years, and you go into this prestigious school, and that education, I wasn't a full ride. That education was worth $250,000. Somebody, something was paying for that, not my parents. So the idea that we had was, listen, let's try to do the very best that we can academically and not fall into the trappings that the sociology of that situation would put us in, which is, you guys are only good when you go to the dance floor, or when you're athletes, or when you want to we brought you to this college so you can add some diversity to the student body. We were like, you know what, we're going to get something out of this too, and we recognized that we had to hold each other up to our highest standards in terms of the academics, and so we had like a week of silence where we shaved our heads. Reddy didn't have to do that because it came natural to him.
Yeah.
You got jokes. You got jokes.
But the point is, and then we basically didn't speak to anybody for a whole week and just went to the library and studied.
Stephon.
So anyway, that's what Sons of
Wait, Stephon. It was called hazing. Let's just get it right.
Woo.
Oh,
You know what?
you don't want to bring it down to that level with them.
No, exactly. You know what? I could relate to you. I went to Penn State, and I went to one of their campus, and let me tell you, I was isolated because I could count how many blacks there were on campus. I had to create a Caribbean club in order to draw more black students in. Right. I think we had 3 when I came in. By the time I left, there was at least 30 or 40. So that was the goal. And yes, I did have to create activities to draw people in, food, music and things to that extent, and just educate people about the Caribbean island. And taking a trip to Jamaica didn't help, advertising to both blacks and whites. Hey, let's try the Caribbean island in order to get more blacks on campus.
Interestingly, and I do want to segue over to the physics component. And I know that hopefully you have your jazz stuff prepared so you can play us a little tune. Just get yourself prepared because you know I'm going to ask you. But it's interesting that you went to a larger school, Dr. Bryan, in terms of Penn State, and you saw some of the same things that that Stephon and I were going through at Haverford, which was our class, our school was smaller than your class, because I think we had about 1,200.
That's right, about 1,200 students. That's
about 1,200 students at the time of our enrollment. He graduated in '93, and I graduated. I graduated in '95 from Haverford.
And I graduated.
Yeah, we know
college in 1987.
Yeah, I know you're old.
Brooklyn College, the urban jungle.
Right.
Brooklyn, that's a good school.
The Harvard of the CUNY schools.
Nah,
actually.
That would be CCNY.
No, it's called Brooklyn.
It's called CCNY. I don't know what you're talking about.
Moving right along.
My daughter goes to the school right next to your guy. She goes to Swarthmore.
We know. Yeah. We're not proud of her for doing that, but it is what it is. Right.
We'll make sure when she plays.
Stephon was actually also a track star at Haverford as well.
I'm gonna tell her to drop 30.
I would say that I never got to run the time that I really wanted to run because I'm still upset by that.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 2 seconds to talk about that, and then we'll get right into the physics. Go ahead. What is your time that you wanted to run? Why are you upset about it? I give you that 2 seconds to vent right now. Go ahead, vent.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I was very talented because and I never ran in college, in high school, but when I started getting serious about it, the first time I ran the 800, I ran a 2:02, which is unheard. I mean, and my coach who trained world record holders, and he said, "My God, you're gonna in the next 2 years, you're gonna be running like 151." You know what? I never broke 2 minutes. It was maybe I did. Yeah, it was. I had a mental block. The
same for me too.
Andre's saying yeah, we're compatible.
What was you running?
Yeah.
For the 400, I ran 53 low. Never broke it.
But wait, hold on a second, Andre. You're telling me that Garcia is faster than you, dog?
Well, no way. But the crazy
okay, let me say it one more time.
What?
You're saying that Garcia is faster than you, dog?
Okay, keyword is no. She ain't
I said was, man. Was. You both went to college.
Probably.
My wife is a Hall of Famer. I don't know about you.
But even in the 300, I ran 36 in practice, in sneakers. Never did it on the field.
Right. It's mental. There was a mental block. We both had it. Yeah.
So yeah, and you ran with Seamus. Seamus was
made the Olympic trials. Yeah.
Made the Olympic trials. We also had a Carl Piranha. I think he came in a little bit after you, who actually made it to the Junior Olympics.
That's right.
We had a lot of great runners, and Tom Donnelly, who was the coach, was an excellent coach.
Right.
He actually tried to get me to run, but I was too lazy. I didn't want to run. So anyway, it's talking about your background in physics. To be a physicist from New York. What got you? Yes, Joanne's question. Repeat that, Joe.
What led you to decide you want to go into studying physics?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, first of all, I wrote a book about that. It's called The Jazz of Physics, and it's all about that story. But in many things, I would say a handful of different. I would say most relevant to our experience growing up, black and Caribbean in New York City, is look, we come from, during that time there was so much creativity going on in New York City with hip hop, with that whole culture, and And I think some of this creativity, that creative spirit, for me, translated into, okay, you know, why is it? I was more asking a question about, oh, why is it that that turntable works, or why is it that the sampler works? You know, I was more into that kind of stuff. I was very inquisitive in that way, and just the idea that I realized that, wait a minute, people get paid to just like sit and think about these things and be inquisitive. I need to check that out. And you know what happened was, you know,
so that's the West Indian side. There's money in this.
right, exactly. I was like, wait a minute, I can, like, you know, I one thing, I held like a lot of us. I held a lot of odd jobs. I worked. Remember this place called Odd Lot?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I worked at Odd Lot. I was a box boy, so you can lift the boxes, and I remember I had this like, there was this boss who was like a character. Let's put it this way: he was this Dominican dude that was basically a taskmaster. And I just remember, and I remember we worked. You know, I was 14 years old. I had this job after school, and I remember when I, you know, at that job, they were older guys. They were like older cats who also, you know, were working there. And I was just like, okay, I don't know if I want to be doing this job for the rest of my life. I got to figure a way out of this. You know what I mean? And so the motivation, that was definitely a motivation, was just like, okay, what else is out there? And then the opportunity to go to college, and it was the kind of thing where physics, if you think about what physics really is, right? It's about, think about sports, right? You think about, you throwing a ball, cricket, golf, like track, like all these things. It's all about, like, you know, music, even music, sound. The whys of that and the hows of that is really science and physics. And so I, you know, if you want to get behind all that stuff, that was the thing. I also want to be a video game programmer. I remember that. I used to play a lot of video games, cut school to play video games, right? And so all of that was like to do that stuff, you need to learn something. But when I started to learn about like what was behind the screen, you know, so to speak, and I realized that I was actually naturally good at it. But when I say naturally good at it, I don't mean to say that in a way that I was better than other people, you know, because I think that there are a lot of people, a lot of kids in our environment who are naturally good at these things. They just don't know it, right? Mm-hmm. And they're just never told that, because what they're told is what they see in the media, or how even their teachers might treat them to make them feel like, you know, other people are good at that, you know.
Well, Stephon,
they don't look like you, and they don't talk like you, they don't act like you.
But
right?
just to interject into what you're saying, you know, it's our inability to decipher what they actually throw at us and determine what is true and what is false. But we get caught up in the whole perception of, you know, we are not only less fortunate, but we are the ones that are the cause of crime, the lack of education, because that is sexy for those who control the media and control. Because if you ever look at all of these third world countries, all of these dictatorships or authoritarian rule, the first thing they always want to control is the dissemination of information, because they can control the narrative. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing that is happening here in America when you look at all of the media giants who control the dissemination of information and the way they try to cater to their own ideologies and beliefs. You know?
Yeah.
And your story, Roderick's story, our stories, they're not sexy enough, or they don't fit within the parameters of how people need to think of who we are and who our culture.
Yes, you said it perfectly. So here's two examples of this, right? I was asked. So one thing that y'all should know is, is that recently I was elected to be on the board of trustees of this new Universal Hip Hop Museum, and that they're building right up there in the Bronx. I know people want to say it comes from somewhere else, but you know, we got it. It's a New York,
you guys get the credit.
It's a New York thing. It's a New York, right? It's our thing. And the reason they're putting me in charge of, I'm taking the lead on the STEM education aspects of hip hop music. And here's the reason why I'm saying this. If you actually look in a microscope, under a microscope of the innovation, I'm talking about what it took for Grandmaster Flash, right, to build a system. And DJ Kool Herc, actually, Herc is from Jamaica. Y'all know that, right? I believe, anyway, so the point here is to study the moment of inertia of the turntable, to get the right needle, to build a crossfader, right? All of this he basically reinvented a scientific method. I mean, or when you just look at all the innovation that came out of that, or even comes out of, like, you know, a lot of things in our own culture that we just naturally do. The point is that we don't have to talk about it, but the culture is already an intellectual culture. But what happened, as you said, John, is that when other people get a control of our narrative, they only spun hip hop, right, as this, you know, one aspect of it, and they suppress this other aspect of it, getting young people to only believe, especially people from outside of New York City who didn't experience it, to believe that it was only a bunch of hoodlums on the stage performing for you. It was more than that. It was very much an exercise of innovation, of creativity, of scientific method, of, you know, all the things that look like if you are a scientist doing something. It's just that the platform and the content was different, but it's still, there's a lot of intelligence in that, but it was suppressed. And they got us to even believe that music was anything but that, because it didn't fit into the stereotypes that they have of us, right? So I totally agree with that, because the truth of the matter is that we are very, like, sort of creative and intellectual people. We created jazz music, which is cognitively harder than mathematics as far as I'm concerned, because I play jazz and I do mathematical physics, you know? So how is it that it's only, you know, that we're only good for performing and entertaining and that kind of stuff? No, there's a lot of intelligence in those creations that's just been suppressed.
Yeah.
And you get young people not to see themselves that way. Well, good luck.
Because they want to shift us to that model, but they don't want to shift us to the model that is actually the money-making model, which is the production and the engineering and the ingenuity of creating that music, those beats that allow the words to be infused together to create the rhythm of music. They want to, it's just like they want to steal our intellectual property. They will give us everything else, but they won't give us our intellectual property. Because you know what? With respect to our intellectual property, what that equates to is the reoccurring of revenue.
You know, I want to segue. I want to pivot for a moment and come back to the physics component. You are a Black person from Bronx, New York, by way of Trinidad, and you're now a professor at Brown University, right? And I want to pivot to that for a moment. And not only are you a Black professor, but normally when we have Black professors at schools like Brown, they're not physicists, right? They are Africana studies, they are, you know, English and history, right? But to see you at that level at a place like Brown, and for
Roger, don't fall into, you just said there are other people of color who are physicists.
No. He said, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. I don't want to leave that out, right? Because again, he holds, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was the president of the National Physicist Peace of the United States, right? So he holds a very high ranking title, and especially kudos to our Caribbean brother. But I want to pivot to that. What has that been like on that level, knowing that you're one of a few? Because I don't think there are any. I think there might have been one or two more persons in your department, if that many, who are blacks who are in your department at Brown. If I think when I spoke to you last year, because when you guys came over, right? I think it's last year when you came over, and we had that, right, and we had that conversation. So what's that like? And then we're gonna bring it back to the jazz and the combination of the science of music back together. So tell us a little bit about that. And how hard is it, being that said, how hard is it to recruit your students to become physicists?
Yeah, I think that, when you are, we know what it's like if you are, let's say, let me give two models. If you are a black person and you are a pioneer, or you're kind of one of few in that field. And also, this also applies that even if you are an African study, the fact that you are just a black professor at a place like Brown University or places like that, it's still like it comes with similar territories. I mean, it's a similar,
Right. Okay.
I would say similar issues, right? Yeah. So, but I would say that it's a good. You asked a hard question. That's a good hard question. I would say that for me, it's really important that I see this as not that this is their issue. And so let me parse it this way. There are some people who, when they find themselves that they're the only one, then it sort of makes them feel it's tempting to feel that you're the special one. You probably heard about the special Negro, or the idea of like, no, and then also maybe one way you might navigate being in that situation is to not raise your voice too much, put your head down and not ruffle feathers too much, and make people feel comfortable, right? I'm not that dude.
You're from Trinidad. You're not that dude.
I am comfortable, and the thing that I don't like about being like one of a few is that they're not more of me in the field. You see what I'm saying? So I'm always trying to find ways to do that. So that's why I wrote my new book, Fear of a Black Universe, as a guide for the next generation, so that when they read these things, they're empowered to then say, okay, instead of having them reinvent the wheel, they can build on these strategies, right? So going back to, so how is it like? I think for me, I now see it as an opportunity to use whatever I have to bring others in. So what I do? I now recruit Black students into my department, and in the past, I put a lot of effort into the undergraduate stuff, like really, but now it's more. I'm like training PhD students. I'm recruiting Black students who have talent and promise, and I bring them to Brown, and I train them to get their PhDs under me. And I'm the president of the National Society of Black Physicists, and since I've been president, over like the last 2 years, with very little resources, we tripled our membership. We produced the first Black women Rhodes Scholars in physics.
Nice.
Nice.
And
she's from New York City. Tell me she's from New York City. Where's she from?
I sort of saw myself, Harvard. She went to Harvard, Samantha Sullivan. But the point is, I see myself more as a partner and a collaborator and a catalyst, right? To try to work together with other like-minded people and allies, including non-Black allies, right? Because the name of the game is to basically to build on what others, on the shoulders of others that came before us, who sacrificed and who also endured even much worse. So it's not my place to just sit back and complain and say, woe is me. I need to tread forward and in this headwind along with others, and so I see now as an opportunity, right? And so that's why I'm actually really happy to be on the show, because it's the first time I feel like I'm really engaged in my community, because I've been doing a lot of things elsewhere, and I'm hoping that our new mayor. I'm very happy that we have I must say it, a black mayor, and it seems like I don't know what y'all think about him, but everything I've seen so far, and I like, and I'm optimistic to see whether or not opportunities open for us in the space of bringing more black intellectuals to come to New York City and help elevate the rest of us and work together. This is not about me, Stephon, being here and y'all. This is about us together, right? Mm-hmm. And that fundamental respect. And so, Ruddy, I think that your question, what's it like? I'm seeing opportunity. I'm seeing opportunity to collaborate. And even though I'm here in Providence, Rhode Island, I come to New York City a lot, and I'm really I'm looking forward to engaging. We're all busy, but finding really effective ways to do that, right? So I see opportunity. Now, in the past, there was struggle. There were definitely struggle. I ain't trying to act like whatever. And there's been a lot of leaders, there have been a lot of people that's underestimated me, that stereotyped me, that didn't think I was going to really amount and actually, what have you. And I think the one thing I really would like to communicate is that there's nothing special about me. I am like everybody else that I grew up. I'm not this seriously. So that's why I'm excited, because I'm just like, wait a minute. Since I know this to be a fact, then what happens if the floodgates open where more people like me can come back and sort of reconnect with the people, right? As a college professor, and do things more grassroots, right? So I think it's exciting. Yeah.
So, one of the conversations that you and I have had, and as recently as this week, is to get you.
I got to get my computer plugged. So. I got to get my computer plugged before this thing dies on me. It's not that I'm going
to. Right. So we spoke about getting into inner city. You're from the inner city, DeWitt Clinton in the Bronx. I know Horace said he's popping out, so I just don't. We're going to come back to Horace's point, but there are a couple of things on the screen about what Horace is saying to you in terms of the jazz component. We want to do that in the next couple of minutes. But I want to get back to our urban youth, especially women, and the sciences. Have you done, either through the National Physicist, Black Physicist Society, or through Brown University, or private conversation, historical conversations, college conversation, what have you done to try to increase at a prestigious university like Brown, which I don't think, it's not an Ivy, but it's on the same echelon as an Ivy. As one of it's the same level. So you go to Brown, you're going.
Brown is an Ivy League institution.
Yeah. It
is. It's one of the 8. Right. Off the top of my head, I couldn't remember all 8 of them. Right then and there. But at that level, to say, how do I get more inner city youth to be participatory and applying to a place like Brown, which is an anomaly because people don't even hear about it. What are some of the outreach? And for people, for principals who I am going to forward this to and have a conversation with, that are at the high school level, and I know that my brother is listening. I don't know if he's still on, he was listening, who's a school for young men, right? And how would he be able to get students to come to Brown? This is a second graduating class to say applying to Brown. I know deadlines are coming up. I think December. It's probably too late for this year. January, it would be rush January 1st to try to get in. So talk to us about that. What kind of things that have you worked or have you worked collaboratively with the admissions department?
Well, I was when I first got to Brown, I was one of the founding directors of a program called the Presidential Scholars Program, which was explicitly about recruiting talented kids from the inner city. It was all about that, and kids from my background, which was a low income inner city background, and with very healthy sort of like packages to support the tuition and all those things. So it's something that Brown is very committed to. I think that, one of the things that I'm happy to do in the future is to come out to come out to the city and find, obviously I have to find time to do it, but the will is there, but it has to be done. I think it'll have to be done in a way where it's like, I speak to an entire, a group of, students, but it's not just Brown, it's other, but the other thing is the flip side of it is also there are a lot of top-notch, incredible universities. So, for example, our friend Jonathan, who went to Brooklyn College, my postdoc, did his undergraduate at Brooklyn College. One of the top physics students in the country, in the United States, Black student, okay, who coming out meaning he outcompeted kids from Harvard, from Caltech, from MIT. He did his undergraduate at City College, and he went to and did his PhD at Stanford, which was one of the top 2 or 3 physics departments in the world, right? So the point is, it is about Brown. But if the end goal is that we want to create the very top at the end of the day, right? Look, you go to a really strong accredited 4-year university.
Yep.
And if at the end of the day you graduate and you have more knowledge and more all these things that we measure a good college education by, and if you get into a better medical school than the kid from Harvard, then what did Harvard do for you then? So that's what I'm looking at. I look at like the outcome here. One of my best friends invented virtual reality, right? He went to a community college. Virtual reality, the goggles and stuff. Jaron Lanier, he didn't like go to. I think he went to Arizona summer school, in New Mexico State or something like that. My point is that when we look at, we have to look also at the outcome, at the final product, and that's what I'm actually interested in. So because Brown has but so many spots, and Harvard has but so many spots, and Haverford has but so many spots. So what I'm really interested in, I think it's good for students to get out of New York City, but there's so many great school systems that if you can go to a really top school. I have students at Brown, and I taught at Dartmouth College as well, and Black students, and they were brilliant. I'm talking about brilliant, but by the time they graduated, they were so burnt out. They were so what's the word? The word when you're like they
need to decompress.
They were so damaged that they didn't have any desire to continue on their education. I can't name names, but I mentored a student who graduated with a perfect 4.0 GPA in physics, a Black student. That didn't even happen in Haverford, okay? This brother said, this guy is so talented, but his experience, he got so demoralized, right? So why not go somewhere where you're not demoralized and you can academically, I'm saying Brown is great for that too, right? But so you got to find a school that works for you too.
Right.
And that's what I'm more interested in, including if a place like Brown is the kind of place where you will thrive. But so that's kind of the way I look at this. And I'll be honest with you, Haverford did well for me, but I don't know. I look back and I'm like, maybe it would have been better for me to have gone to a historically Black college. One of my best friends went to Howard, even though he got into Harvard and he got into Stanford. This guy went to Howard. He graduated summa cum laude at Howard in chemistry. And now he's a professor at Yale. You should get him on. His name is Brandon. He's a computational biologist at Yale University, professor. I don't think if he would have gone to Harvard, I think that place would have damaged him such that his ego, what have you, by the time he went to grad school, it would have been like, because we have to deal with all of that microaggressions at these types of schools too. So, you know, now don't get me wrong. I think that's one of the reasons why I teach at Brown is because I can be that professor in the classroom such that I have a little bit of control of, like, you know, saying and doing certain things because it's me in the front of the class, right? But that didn't exist when I was at Haverford. I had no black professors,
Yeah,
right? And I think that really matters.
I had a
I had none.
I did. I had a couple, not a lot, but I did foreign language and Spanish and did some studies. John had a question for you, so I'm gonna, we could do that because we only have a couple of minutes left. John, go ahead.
Well, my question is really not a question. It's just a compliment to all you have accomplished, and you haven't forgotten your roots. Just as the testament to the upbringing that your family gave you, and to me, that's important.
Thank you, bro. Let's put it this way: God forbid if I would have forgotten where I came from. I think no. The point here is that it's really interesting, right? Whatever I think if you were to say, okay, Stephon, what was some of the keys behind your, like, how did you survive in that world? It was a big part of it was not forgetting where I came from, because if I would have lost that, like, they would have destroyed me, because I would have started, you know what I mean?
But you know what? But and that is important, and I like the way you have been able to sustain your love for jazz and have collaborated that with your other love, physics. So if you can really go into that and just tell the listeners, how did that come about, and how you continue to pursue both loves.
And we know you go out and perform. So if you got a couple seconds of a note that you want to put on for us too,
He is not letting that go at all.
We like to hear that, because the Sons of Africa, they're listening.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Don't do that yet.
I'll definitely bless y'all with something. But
Stephon, hold on just 1 second. Let me just read you a couple of comments that relates to what John was just talking to you about, and then you could throw that in. Harsh writes, just popping in to say it's ironic that I'm currently working on a jazz band where no one looks like me. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine just said that they went to go see Monty Alexander in Westchester. He was there this weekend. He also writes that they're historical figures in the genre only black artists mention, and the only one that they really mention is Quincy Jones. And then he said different exposure is what sets many of us apart. And I'm assuming he's still relating to music. I've never heard it explained like this before. That's talking about going to the HSBCU and looking at it from a different perspective. When you spoke about that, about Harvard and that school, and I was a professor at Harvard. And what else? What's the other one I'm missing? This one here is great not to forget your roots. This allows others to see that what they could possibly become one day, which is giving kudos to you. So go ahead and talk about the jazz that John was talking about. And I'm still waiting for you to either play your song or sing it out so we can enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, the jazz is a creation. It is. No one will ever deny that is something that black people created. And so the reason where the jazz and the physics actually connects to me was, in physics, it's about, a lot of it is people think that, what's the stereotype? Physicists are smart. Physics is hard. And if you do physics and you do it well, that means you must be really smart. And so therefore, if you think about the stereotypes of black men, right? And black people in general, right? We're a threat. We're dumb. We're lazy and all these things. And you know what? I definitely experienced that when I was a student, not from teachers, and throughout my career, as I continued to elevate up, I was, definitely those presumptions were still made about me. And God forbid, when you're even more comfortable in your own skin, like I am, then all of a sudden they're like, I'm not trying to sound like hello, I'm Stephon, and and this kind of thing. I'm like, I'm a guy from the Bronx, and I can't be anything else. Not because I'm defiant. It's just that it's hard for me to be something else. it takes work, too much work, and I'm lazy. So my point here is that I had to find ways of validating myself. You know, in my path to becoming a physicist, I had to find ways within my own culture and my own background, and to sort of validate great minds and great genius and things. And so since there wasn't like yet a black Einstein or a black whatever, there was a John Coltrane, there was a Miles Davis, there was a Bob Marley, and there were these tremendous minds, but they were taking some of those, like there's a great Bob Marley quote, right? And I'm paraphrasing. Philosophies in my head like feather to lead. You know, Bob Marley was also a philosopher.
Oh, yes. Yes.
No, he was really just, now the medium that he was allowed to take that out on wasn't, you know, going to the halls of Harvard University, wasn't Island Records, and was in the, you know, what have you. That's where he spat his philosophy, right? So John Coltrane was a mathematician. You know, Miles Davis was, you know, I mean, so, but back then, those guys didn't have the opportunities, those guys and gals, they didn't have the opportunities and the platforms and the universities to do that. So they took it out on the instruments and the piano and the voice. And, you know, James Brown's a genius, you know? And so my point there was I read about jazz, and through the axis of the intellect, that when I started studying the patterns and just the ingenuity behind the music, and then of course, as I started to see parallels between the kind of stuff Coltrane and Wayne Shorter was doing, and that it had parallels in the mathematics of physics, I had to write a book about that. So it was an exercise to me to validate the genius in my own people and my own culture, without watering anything down, without having to try to like force that. It was very natural, actually. And so my Einstein was a Coltrane, you know? And so, yeah, so that's the first thing. I mean, it filled the void when I was in the halls of science, right? For me to go and read, I used to read about Ivan van Sertima. They came before Columbus, and about, Sheikh Anta Diop, who wrote about African science and science in Africa and African philosophy. These things that I needed to find these things. And so that's kind of where the jazz lived in that whole rubric. Okay.
Andre asked, what is the name of that book you mentioned that highlights Caribbean philosophy?
We were talking about it earlier today, and you mentioned it.
Yeah, I believe the book, I think it's Caliban's Reason by Paget, Dr. Paget Henry, who was one of my mentors. He was an Antiguan philosopher and sociologist, and he wrote a book. It's like, a hardcover book. Let me find it. 1 second. Caliban's Reason. Is there a way for me to send a link?
You could text to Andre. We'll get it.
All right. So the book is called Caliban's Reason, Introducing Afro.
But is that Caliban with a C or Taliban with a T?
No, Caliban, Caliban. Caliban. By Paget, and the book is called Caliban's Reason, An Introduction to Afro-Caribbean Philosophy. And I'm going to pull up now. I'm actually looking at the book right now, and the title and it begins. I'm going to show it right now. With the quote. Yeah, the book. So the first chapter is called Introduction: The General Character of Afro-Caribbean Philosophy, and then it has a quote: "The power of philosophy floats through my head, light like a feather, heavy as lead." Bob Marley.
We have to wrap up. We have just a couple of minutes left, so I'm still waiting for you to pull the tune. So you have now you only have like 30 seconds, right? So we want to hear your music. Go ahead. Let's have Dr. Stephon Alexander. He's taking off look, he's getting all vibed up. He's taking off his jacket and everything. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, while Dr. Stephon Alexander is getting his things prepared, Thank you for watching and listening here in the village on 92.1 GFM, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you have listened, heard, played, anything right here on the Village Talk Show, where we dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education. Now, that each one of us can rise above at any point. Yes, yes. You're listening to Dr. Stephon Alexander live. Thank you for joining John, myself, and God bless. Have a wonderful night.
Woo!
That is
Crazy.
that is awesome. Is that one of your own piece?
No, that's Mo Better Blues.
Oh, see how much I know jazz. All right.
That was awesome. Thank you.
That was awesome. Welcome. And thank you, Dr. Alexander, for joining us. And you know, we're here. So just reach out and we could talk about your book at another time.
Forever Black Universe. That's a book.
Say it again.
Black Universe.
Black Universe.
That's my new book.
Forever.
All right, Dot.
All right, Doc. God bless.
God bless.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Good night, all. Good night, everyone on the village. Thank you, all the villagers, as John says. Coin in John's word, the villagers.
Thank you.